All year round, Frontier Home Products and Design has what you need to make your home comfortable and beautiful. Relax on a new timber tech deck designed by Frontier's experts. A new fireplace from Frontier Home Products Fireplace Gallery adds warmth and serenity to any home. Beauty and versatility at Frontier Home Products and Design Center, 4213 Peachtree, East 5th, next to the Bayfront Highway.
Frontier Home Products and Design Center. Discover a new frontier.
PA contractor number PA039007.
Looking for amazing finds and incredible deals? Visit Erie City Mission Thrift today. From stylish clothes and shoes to quality furniture and home goods, you'll discover something new each time while changing lives right here in Erie. It's shopping that feels good and does good. Come see us in Erie and Girard. Erie City Mission Thrift. Thrift with a purpose.
Welcome to TalkErie.com's Joel Natale Show, Erie, Pennsylvania's daily podcast. Every day, we tackle the biggest issues that the Erie, PA region faces. Stay informed and involved as we advance the narrative of Erie. Now, here's Joel Natale.
We're going to find out about the good work of the Sisters of St. Joseph Neighborhood Network and their housing strategy. With us is Executive Director Heather Caspar. Good to see you, Heather.
Hi, Joel. Thanks for having us.
You got it. Michelle Jaggi, she is the housing director, right, Michelle? Welcome.
That's right. Thank you, Joel.
You got it here. And we're welcoming in Kyle Blackmer, and he is the property manager. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Now, we kind of have heard the stories before of Heather and Michelle, but how about you? How'd you come up, Kyle? Are you an Erie native, or did you transplant in?
Absolutely. I was born in Erie. I'm more prevalent in the West County, but my heart is in Erie, and specifically Little Italy I've been drawn to for the last 15, 20 years.
Is that how long you've been working in there?
Roughly.
And when you talk about property manager, does that mean you have a construction background or something?
Absolutely. Construction, I started at a very young age with my father, and then I'm able to carry over some of those qualities and traits to this housing program and implement them there. Yeah.
Do you like all these battery-operated tools these days?
Absolutely.
Sure makes life a lot easier, doesn't it?
Very convenient. Yes.
One battery, 15 different implements, right? All right. Well, welcome. Appreciate you being here. All right, let's get a baseline here. It's been a while since we've talked to the SSJ, and I would love to know kind of key pillars of your mission, Heather.
Okay, well, I think it boils down very simply to revitalization of neighborhoods and empowerment of neighbors. And so we do all kinds of things from emergency needs to soup kitchen and community gardens and farmers market and after school programs and youth work experience, revitalization, public art. We really do quite a bit in the neighborhoods that we serve. But this housing project is really special to us. It feels, I think, a niche that's really needed in Erie. And so it's good to be here to talk about that.
Michelle, articulate the felt need. Again, we have a lot of conversations. People are seeing their rents skyrocket, and they're having a hard time even finding units. What did you find when you were kind of working on this?
So the big need that we're filling is helping to support people who are ready to purchase a home. They're planning to purchase a home, but perhaps they're currently renting and it's very hard to get out from under those rent payments. So we really provide that support, education as far as financial education, and we also provide a reduced cost apartment. We rent our apartments at 55% of fair market rate.
Wow.
Which really helps people develop a strategy for savings. So when they're ready to close on a house, they're coming to the table with a full set of cards. And we help connect them to community partners who will also help with down payment assistance and really support them along the way. Our program is 2 to 3 years. People are in our program, and during that time we work and support them the whole way through, up and through the home buying process and even beyond.
You mentioned while we were off the air of people that were graduating. What is that process? What does that look like?
Yeah.
Maybe Kyle, do you want to talk about, because you walked a couple of people through
Yeah,
recently?
absolutely. So in the calendar year of 2025, we had 4 families or single individuals graduate our Genesis program. What that would look like is the years prior to 2025, 2 to 3 years, they were in our program, as Michelle had mentioned, with financial education, prepping for home ownership, and also practical skill education of owning a home. As we work with them to get closer to graduation, they work with community partners and financial institutions to purchase a home. Now, as we get close to graduation, I will look at properties with them. We do offer incentives to purchase in our service footprint. We are trying to create homeowners in the city of Erie. As they graduate, that looks like, I'm drawing a blank here.
It's a traditional mortgage, is what we're looking
Okay,
at.
yeah. Well, because that begs the question. You know, you've seen what a closing looks like. You know, with the 2-inch thick paper, and you know, I hate to say it this way, but you know, the root canal kind of exam of the finances. And I had always heard that what's holding most people up from being able to buy a home, not necessarily as even having the down payment, but it's the credit report, it's the score. Can you articulate what that all means, and how your folks are able to kind of, you know, get a step ahead, I guess?
Yeah. Well, first I'll say that every process looks different.
Okay.
Every single one. You know, it is a different family, a different person, a different bank, a different house. And so there's no cookie cutter, but Michelle can certainly speak to the credit.
Right. So as far as credit goes, we have awareness of the requirements that the different banks need for credit scores, and we help.
So they're not necessarily changing just because they're working with SSJ, or are they kind of changing a little bit?
We certainly try to encourage people and support them with increasing their credit score, knowing the higher the credit score they come to that table
I'm
with.
sorry, but is the bank changing their criteria?
I'm sorry, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So some banks have more flexibility than others built into their programs.
Gotcha.
So for some, they will look at an entire picture of somebody's financial history and maybe be able to tell a compelling story that allows them to be financially solvent for a mortgage. Some banks do have a hard number that you
like a
have
hard
to meet.
score number?
Yes.
Or?
So we want all of our Genesis participants to meet at least that number.
Yeah.
Like right around 620 is
Yeah. I'm sorry to be like skeptical a little bit, but I've had situations where you're well into your 700s, yet they will deny you the loan because of, you're carrying too much debt, or this is a newer number. It's like, well, are we playing around a little bit with the flexibility, as it were?
None of the banks are giving us special rates.
Okay.
We are fitting within what is with most banks have a first-time home buyer incentive program already. And so they already have some flexibility built into it and some understanding about that. And it may carry a slightly higher interest rate, something like that. And we certainly, this is just one tool for housing, there's such a need that's well beyond our program as well.
Sure.
But our niche really starts with somebody who we really think we can help them move the needle in 2 or 3 years. So if your credit's kind of borderline, then we can help you do things to bring it up to where a bank would.
It may not work for somebody really needs some credit rehabilitation, is what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting, and really that's the end goal, right? Is home ownership, is it not? I mean, that's where you get that financial independence, is by owning your own home. Weigh in on that a little bit there, Kyle.
Well, I would just like to circle back a little bit when you mentioned, like credit scores in the 700 and they may be denied. banks look at a debt to income ratio as well. So that could be reasons why they're being denied. But that's where Michelle and I, we work on a case to case basis with these families. And, if someone's applying to the program and their debt to income may be too high, their credit score too low, we also help them through community partners strengthen that and then reapply to the program. So I just wanted to circle back to that.
Sure, I appreciate that.
But yeah, and then when they're ready to join our program and they're accepted into the program, we really do look at that debt to income ratio and what we can do to clear that. Some, poor insights on their credit reports, clear those off and really get them into a financial standing where they can purchase.
And that 2 to 3 years that they're in the program is really kind of key to kind of turning that whole thing around, right?
That is the big focus, especially for the first 2 years. And then the third year, we kind of get into education more centered around the demystifying the home buying process.
Yeah. And you mentioned something, Kyle, about skills. You need skills to own a home.
Absolutely.
That leaky faucet or...
It's funny you bring that up. That's a great example. When one of our tenants call with an issue at one of the apartments, I actually try to schedule time when they are home, so then I can teach them how I'm going to be approaching a problem and how to troubleshoot that problem and give them some soft skills of home ownership, so then they're not having to call the plumber at $200 an hour to come fix that leaky faucet.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of things that you have to be handy about if you're going to own a home.
Absolutely.
Pretty amazing. Heather, we're going to go to break here in a second, but again, this idea of that end game, we're kind of building a more sustainable and higher capacity citizenry by having more people owning their own homes.
For sure. And as our mission is to revitalize neighborhoods, we traditionally work in neighborhoods that have a much higher ratio of renters than homeowners. We also really want to flip that statistic as well. So that's why we incentivize buying within our footprint too, because it's win-win for the neighborhood.
Why Genesis? Why did you call it that?
Do you know, the name existed before any of us worked with the sisters. So
okay.
I think
it kind of existed before the sisters.
It's true.
Just say, Well, that's fabulous. I want to get to some statistics here that are kind of, one of our biggest challenges in Erie, Pennsylvania is minority home ownership, right? I've heard numbers as low as 4% of African American families own their own home. It's just not a good statistic here. How do you think this Genesis project and how you're approaching it will help build more equitable home ownership here in Erie, you think?
Well, I feel like we do not we don't track those or shoot for a specific statistic in our requirements as far as admitting people into the program. But for sure, the folks who are coming to us for this program are looking for something that's affordable and something that is going to help them with some financial issues that they've been facing, and to sort of turn things around. I think our criteria, the city of Erie average median income is about $42,000. And our criteria is $40,000, that the total household income for this. So I think we figured that out. That's about if there are two wage earners, then each of them is making about $12 or $13 an hour.
Oh,
so that's very affordable.
Yeah.
As we said, the rent that we charge for the properties that we maintain and is 55% of market value. So that is
like $500 instead of $850.
Right. And so if you're right now paying $850 or $900 or $1,000, and then you come in and you're paying $200 or $300 less, that means you have built-in savings. We know right away you can put at least that amount into savings towards the down payment.
So you're helping them redirect that instant wow, that's super
from
cool.
day one. And in fact, it's a requirement that they show that savings is coming in. And so that is, but at the same time, we don't raise the rent, so that it, just like your mortgage doesn't change, your lease will not change. And so you really can build a solid budget and have a number that you can count on.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're shooting for a minimum credit score of 600, which is a tough one for many people. But I think that it is very attainable. It's approachable for a large, at least half of, if the median income is 42,000, then at least half of the people in the city of households are making that.
Right. Wow. The one of the issues that I cover is workforce participation. It's at an all-time low. Okay, and so I'd love for you guys to weigh in on whether it is the bank, the bank officer looking at numbers, or how you are guiding your clients. Where does workforce participation and the gig economy weigh in on all this, do you think?
Well, gig economy is interesting, right? Because you don't have a traditional, payment plan.
A lot of folks are driving for Uber Eats,
and
right?
so your income might have some flexibility, and with that, we really, a lot of our participants maybe have a gig work as a second job as part of their income, maybe not their base income. So the big thing there is to have that be consistent over time. So during the 2-3 years that they're in our program, they can demonstrate that is consistent income for them and use it towards their mortgage.
Yeah.
So
Is there encouragement to say, I know that this is working right now, but boy, there's a plant or there's a service provider, customer service that could actually really reinforce your income. Talk about that, Kyle.
1,000%. We often table at AHN or Barry's Global. I know they changed their name recently.
Yeah.
We're looking for ideal candidates that have that stable job, the stability. Not that you would be ruled out for having a gig economy type job, but we are really leaning into the employers that really take care of their employees and pay them a fair wage. So,
I mean, some of these, you're going to get more than just 15 an hour. You're going to get benefits. You're going to get a retirement plan with a 4% match or something like. I mean, there's a lot that goes. Yep. That's not being kind of self-employed, know.
And I think there really is a narrative out there, especially with younger professionals, that buying a house is just not attainable. And I don't know exactly where that comes from, except for that, I mean, there are challenges for sure, but if you are just starting out and, making a little more than minimum wage, but you're just starting out in your career, it really is attainable. I think that the assistance that we give is really enough to push you over that line to be able to afford it.
I mean, when you all look at the numbers here, if they're paying $850 a month, that's like equivalent to what, $170,000 house if it was a mortgage?
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of house in Erie, or at least it used to be.
Sure. And so we know people have the monthly payment to make that mortgage, and really it's about, helping support them for that down payment.
Yeah. And what are you shooting for down payment? Because FHA will take what, 1.5%, 2%, right?
Right.
So we're shooting for the down payment. We're looking at anywhere between $5,000 to $8,000 on the down payment.
So you're trying to beat the FHA number. Yeah.
With that, our tenants are saving monthly, as Heather had mentioned, anywhere from $225, $275, even more if they can monthly, and they prove that on their statements every month to us. They have to show that to make sure they're staying in line with the program. Beyond that, we also incentivize buying in our footprint. So, Heather, you had mentioned that as well. We will actually escrow $100 per month of their rent into an account, and if they purchase in our service footprint, they get awarded that for their closing.
Snap! That's amazing.
At the end of 3 years, that could be $3,600 plus what they saved. So it really makes it obtainable.
Plus any buyer's assistance that the loan officer is aware of.
Okay. So your ultimate goal, Heather, is to rebuild neighborhoods.
Yes.
And that comes right back to your mission.
Yeah,
Circles
and for
right back.
sure. I mean, Kyle, a large portion of Kyle's job is the renovation of single-family homes, because we found early on in this program that we'd have people ready to buy a home and would love to buy in the neighborhood, but there was not a quality single-family home in the neighborhood. So then we started purchasing single-family homes that needed significant repairs and renovation, and Kyle's been doing that, and so we can offer those homes to our Genesis families first, and everything's been, all the mechanicals, the roof is fine. We know it's a solid investment as well.
Are you able to beat out private equity and kind of the cash buyers that are swooping in?
Yeah, we can and we have, but there's also many avenues that we obtain our homes. You know, we do take donations.
Okay.
If someone's aging out and they want to, you know, maybe move to a different city, XYZ, and they have a home in Erie, we absolutely take donations. We've remodeled some beautiful homes that way as well.
From baggage claim to pajamas in 10 minutes. Erie International Airport. Fly with ERI.com.
Fly Erie International Airport to Charlotte on American Airlines, your nonstop gateway to the world. Also, we have Breeze Airways flying nonstop to Orlando and Tampa, Florida. A great low-cost carrier providing excellent service to the regional community. Fly Erie International for your travel needs.
Fly with ERI.com.
Get paid to drive. Start a new career behind the wheel at the EMTA. If you are looking for a high-paying and rewarding career with full benefits and paid training, stop by or apply online today with the EMTA. Plus, EMTA riders can now enjoy free Wi-Fi on new, clean, and environmentally friendly buses to travel all over Erie County. Visit ridethee.com for more information.
Get on board EMTA. Get on board EMTA. Get
At Quickfill, what matters most is that our customers, our communities, and our heroes are taken care of. We start by providing American-made gasoline, which means you can buy local, keeping America and your communities strong. We also support vital charities every year and hold Operation Give Thanks each November to help provide a better future for our veterans and their families. We're proud to support the communities we live and work in, and we're doing our best every day to make our towns a better place. Quickfill, driving America.
You said that the Genesis program got started before your time, Heather. What do you think the sisters felt need in saying, we got to do something here?
Yeah, they were looking at the state of the properties, and their idea, they first called it making waves, my understanding was, and they thought that they would buy a home that needed renovation and then have a family rent it while the renovations were happening.
Okay.
And then buy it from them. And then they would use the sale money to buy the next property, and they were going to make waves across the neighborhood.
It's kind of a cluster approach and keep it going. I gotta ask you about one particular property. So I remember being on a Serve Erie team that went into 18th and Myrtle on would be the north west corner. I think that was one of yours,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And you know this one there?
Absolutely.
So this has got to be close to 10 years ago, and it was a total gut to the studs. Probably needed help with the foundation. I mean, major renovation. Now, is that like a 2-unit apartment, or talk about that, Kyle? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was before my time.
Yeah, sure.
But I do know a little bit about that process and how beautiful the home is now. That is one of our 2 units.
And are folks in this program using that? No, not necessarily.
It's actually really interesting, because that is the one building we have, 2 units, that is not part of this program.
Okay.
And so it is. We do have a affordability requirement for that, because we used home funds, HUD funds. But we have had families who have, because they have gotten better jobs and made more money, they have capped out of. They've exceeded the cap for the income for that, and then they have moved into the Genesis program, into another program. So we're able to use those apartments that you helped to work on that way.
So that's one story, right? You go towards SAS a little bit, And my homestead growing up, 252 West 18th, did not make it. It's a parking lot right now. Now, y'all put a nice fence around it. There's like a black metal fence. But that's what happens. Sometimes these homes are too far gone, right?
I can absolutely attest to that. I'm in homes often looking to purchase for our Genesis program or single-family homes to remodel for our graduates. It's few and far between that are actually make financial sense to purchase for the remodels. There are some properties that are pretty far gone in Erie here, and that's another facet that we work with blight remediation. So sometimes we get some properties that need to come down, and we can turn that into green space, community gardens, parks. The list goes on and on.
So with that parking lot at 252, that's your property though, right? Or no?
I do not believe that.
It is not.
Okay.
It is now owned by the neighbor beside where you
Oh,
used to
okay.
live. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
It's owned by a neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that work? Like, do you work with the land bank? I mean, what are some of the partners that you have with this program here?
So certainly the land bank, but also a big part of our program that we've touched upon is education. We connect a lot to education partners in the community, including St. Martin's Center, Erie's Black Wall Street. The banks are big partners of ours.
Sure.
They offer education. We encourage our participants to use local banks and establish with them because they could be potential mortgage lenders coming forward. So we work very well with our community partners. They work well with us. And, it's a robust process that we wouldn't be able to do alone.
Go ahead.
Beyond that, too, just for the funding, banks provide grants to us for the renovations and to help support this program. We also use our neighborhood assistance tax credit programs heavily, and we have a number of local partners that take advantage of that program. So the list of partners in this is very long.
We do have a unit shortage citywide, right? Countywide, even. At what point would it make sense for you guys to go into the development business and start building single families?
It's funny you mentioned that. With remodeling and having 4 graduates purchase the single family homes last year, I've kind of taken a backseat on the remodel for this year, and I'm focusing on some new development. I've been looking into modular type homes to bring in. I'm working with the Redevelopment Authority on what that looks like. And I do have some local contractors who are interested in stick building. So
it's interesting, Kyle. I thought we had a rule or a zoning law against modular, and the mayor said no, you can bring in modular into the city.
There's often a stigma when you hear the word modular. It's not exactly your 1980s trailer park bringing in something like that.
Yeah.
They are very high tech and
Do they come
homes.
small enough, though, to fit a city lot, you think?
Yes, we are exploring different options on different types of modular homes, different sizes. We're working with someone down in Pittsburgh, actually, right now on different models of their homes. So I guess keep your eyes peeled for the future of that.
Yeah.
We're also working with Infinite Erie and the group that's part of the whole housing work study.
Okay, even like the
looking at
Triangle of Hope, or
Yeah, well,
Okay.
and they're more specifically looking at some infill housing development with the Redevelopment Authority within the neighborhoods too. And so there's such a shortage. There's a huge shortage, and we want to be part of what's happening so that we can learn from it too, in case we want to get into the development ourselves.
Yeah. Go figure, though, Michelle. When you think about Erie Refocus and the Buki deal, near raising his voice at the city, saying you need to find a floor for your housing values. Well, we found the floor. It was called COVID, and now they've screamed up 40% or sometimes 100%. And now we have a housing shortage. It's hard for the average person that's been around a while to understand how this all works.
Right. So, we know we have about an 11% vacancy rate here in Erie, but not all those homes are inhabitable. So, there is a bit of a housing shortage. And I think, looking at multiple pronged solutions to that. Kyle's project here with modular homes and looking at different ways we can increase the housing stock and have affordable housing.
Do you think that we should be advocating just aggressively going after more and more blight? I'm thinking that if I'm sitting on 18th Street and I'm walking 17th, 16th, Myrtle, Mobile, all these streets, and Chestnut Street, there's probably a few that need to just come down so that we can reclaim and like you say, backfill, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the city has a number of times, even in recent years, done assessments like that to talk about the condition of properties, and they've categorized what really needs to come down.
Yeah. The I want to spend the rest of our time. We only have we've got about 9 minutes here, but I want to talk about getting that person ready to go so they might be able to enter the Genesis program. And we probably have a lot of parents and grandparents where the son or daughters live in at home. Maybe they're making decent money at whatever job they're doing. I mean, it is within the realm that they could, if they get their credit right, they could become homeowners, right? What would be some of your pro tips or just encouragement that you would give a young person or a parent of a young person? Not that they should nag, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I say 100% of the time, whether you are already in the Genesis program, you're looking to purchase a home, maybe outside the Genesis program, or you're looking to eventually enter the Genesis program, 100% of the time, I recommend people go to the St. Martin Center. They offer one-on-one financial counseling through their self-sufficiency program. It's very robust. They are HUD-certified financial counselors. They know those pro tips that could get your credit score up quickly. They know those fast fixes if they're available to the individual person, and can really help them get their credit score up. So if somebody applies and their credit score is a little too low, that's what I recommend to them. And then I ask them to reapply in 6 months or a year. And, we really help people get to where they need to be to start that process.
Do you ever get to the point that you're talking about upskilling? I mean, we have this beautiful community college. We have other schools and things. And heck, many employers will actually train you that, hey, you're doing this. You might be in shipping and receiving, but maybe you could really go to the tool room, or you can, become a truck driver, or you'll go to CDL. Talk about, again, that kind of personal development thing.
Right. So I don't think we've had too many conversations directly about upskilling, but I think you bring up a really good point, Joel. I mean, the community college is a relatively new resource to us, a very robust resource that can certainly help people improve their financial standing with income. And, it's very wise, that people explore all the resources they can to improve their income.
What about culturally? Some folks that I grew up with on West 18th Street probably never owned anything. Their grandparents rented, their parents rented. Well, I'm supposed to rent. How do you break through that?
I think a fair percentage of those who have graduated from our program are the first
homeowners in the family.
And we've had a number of new Americans find success in our program, but we have people who, they're very proud of the fact that they're the first in their family that have been able to do that. Yeah. I think, something else something Michelle just said triggered this in my mind that I wanted to make sure that we said this, because it's often a question that comes up, just the after someone buys a home, and like what kind of supports are there, and how do we, within our program, help to make sure that we're trying to mitigate some of that risk after the fact, And I think that that's something that, like when Kyle mentioned that he's showing people how to work on their home, but they also, if they've purchased in our footprint, they can continue to take advantage of the other programs that we offer. And we have so many supports where we've got the farmers market with the SNAP match that we offer, and we also have after school programs for the kids. We've got facade grants and home improvement grants, so we can continue to support those families in in their home, even after they've purchased.
And those families, I mean, they're my friends at this point. They have my cell phone number. They've reached out to me about X, Y, or Z on the home, and I'm there for them, absolutely.
Yeah, that's exciting to have a partner. Again, most people wouldn't have that. Most first-time home buyers would not have that partner, but you learn from your parents, you learn from your siblings, or and a friend that knows their way around a hammer. This is exciting stuff, because again, it just circles right back to the mission here. And while we're again, this you all are the representative of the neighborhoods that you serve here. As we walk into we're walking into the middle 21st century here. How do you see it going with let's say that Little Italy neighborhood, or where you are on the east side? Do you see that eventually we will start seeing some upward movement on property values? Do you see that we will see some, I hate to use the word, but gentrification go on? I mean, as people try to take advantage of being, on a bus line and 10 minutes away from downtown, so they can go to their gig at Erie Insurance or at Hammett or at St. Vincent. I mean, that's a very advantageous neighborhood. There's a reason why all those Italians lived there 100 years ago, because it was the bus line to the GE, right? I mean, think about that.
I think the answer is yes to all of those options that you said we're going to see, because we already are seeing gentrification in some areas. We are still seeing some areas that struggle and continue to struggle. And I think that we also see some areas that are trying very hard to become market rate. Yeah. I think that is, with our program, we are trying to, when we sell the homes that we renovate, we get them appraised and we sell them at market value, because we want to maintain that market rate for the rest of the neighborhood around it too. So we don't want to drive up or drive down pricing there. But
you have some pretty classic, I'm thinking of 21st Street with those brick homes that used to be doctors' homes with for St. Vincent's back in the day. I mean, there's just some pockets there of some gorgeous homes in the neighborhood, I
think pockets is a great word, because all of Erie, there's just, there's pockets of affordability. There's pockets of some of those just gorgeous historic homes in every neighborhood.
It occurs to me, we have the technology and the database, and Buki did it 10 years ago. He knew the condition of every single residential unit in the city of Erie, whether it was in decline, if it was stable, or if it was okay or good, right? I'm wondering if we need to spend more time and deliberation on being like lasers on really eradicating the saboteurs, if you will, of getting rid of those properties that are really bringing the neighborhood down, so that we can really punch through. And that's going to solve a lot of issues. We'll get our tax base up. We'll get some more vibrancy in our neighborhoods and so on. Again, that's my editorial comment here. Let's bring this plane in for a landing. Let's encourage folks, if they want to find out more about the Genesis program through the Sisters of St. Joseph Neighborhood Network, what do they need to do?
They can find an application for the program or learn more about the program on our website. They can also call our office and get information there. I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody who is inquisitive and would like to know more about our program and see if they qualify.
Pretty exciting stuff. It's a personal passion. My parents raised 8 kids in that house, and they worked hard. They tried to keep it up. I'll never forget my dad on a ladder trying to paint the eave of the top. I mean, on an old wooden extension ladder. Holy smokes! The angels were watching him on that ladder. But thank you so much, Heather Caspar, Michelle Jaggi, Kyle Blackmer from the Sisters of St. Joseph.
You've been listening to The Joel Natale Show, Erie, Pennsylvania's daily podcast from TalkErie.com. Subscribe to our show on your favorite podcatcher and get involved by emailing joel@talkerie.com.